Hey, good afternoon. So, you may have seen this claim on social media before. Farting burns 67 calories. Now, if that were true, you could just skip the gym and just sit on the couch, right? But scientifically, this claim doesn't just stretch the truth. It's actually a steaming pile of you know what coming from the same place as your flatulence as well. So let's break this down using real physiology and basic energy principles to answer one question. Does passing gas burn any meaningful calories? First, let's define a calorie. And this is a calorie with a capital C. When we say calorie in nutrition, at least in the United States, we actually mean a kilocalorie. And that's a kcal. And so this is a unit of energy. So compared to the SI unit of energy, one food calorie, as you will, equals 4184 joules of energy. That's a lot of energy. Um, and for comparison, your body burns just 1 calorie per minute just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. This is, except you're not really doing nothing, this is your resting metabolic rate, or RMR. And that's the energy that must be expended just for being alive. So if farting actually burns 67 calories, that would be like sitting quietly for over an hour or doing any physical activity, just moderate physical activity like walking across the hall. So now let's treat this like a physics problem. And so passing gas involves a small volume of gas, very low pressure, and a minimal muscle contraction. In particular, that's the anal sphincter, which is actually relaxed. It's not contracted to let the intestinal gases escape. So we can actually estimate the work using the following equation. Work equals pressure times the change in volume, delta V. And so typical values involved in flatulence is only around about 300 pascals of pressure and maybe about 200 milliliters of volume. So when we plug these numbers into the equation, you're going to get about 0.06 joules of work. Now remember, 1 calorie is 4184 joules. So we can use dimensional analysis, and we're talking about 0.000014 calories, which is statistically zero. And it's also biologically irrelevant. It's not just small, it's like nothing. So burning calories requires metabolic activity. This involves muscle contraction, ATP consumption, and increased oxygen use. But flatulence involves mostly passive gas movement, and it's a relaxation of the anal sphincter muscles and very minor abdominal engagement. There's no meaningful increase in heart rate, breathing, or energy demand. So your metabolism doesn't spike at all. And here's the interesting part. Most intestinal gas isn't even produced or metabolized by you directly. It actually comes from gut bacteria that's fermenting in the colon. It's fermenting undigested carbohydrates. That process occurs and produces gases like CO2, hydrogen, and methane. In fact, this microbial activity can actually extract extra energy from food, not burn it. So if anything, your gut microbes are helping you gain usable energy, not lose it. So where did 67 calories come from? Who knows? I don't know. Most likely it comes from a misunderstanding of how energy expenditure works, or maybe it's just a completely fabricated number that spread through social media right out of somebody's butt, right? After all, apparently social media seems to really like 6, 7, right? Um, so I don't know. Maybe it's just time to let this one jump the shark. So there's no physiological mechanism, no experimental data, and no theoretical basis to support 67 calories. So here's the bottom line. Flatulence requires negligible energy, practically zero. does not increase metabolism, and again, it burns effectively 0 calories. Not 67, not even 1. So if you enjoyed breaking down this silly internet meme with real science, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video for more. And next time you hear a claim like this, just run the numbers. They really don't lie. It's just math. I'll see you in the next video.